Alright, let's go over how to make this molecule do the displacement thing that we were doing in class today. So I have just the basic cube here. I'm going to come over to modifiers. Also, I'm in the cycles rendering engine. Come over to modifiers. And let's choose a subdivision surface. I'm going to bump that up to 4. So that way I just made a sphere out of a cube. Let's set this shading over here to smooth. Then let's add another modifier, and that modifier will be displace. Let's create a new texture for that displacement. Notice that it's at the bottom of the modifier stack. And we want to edit that texture, so we're going to hit this button right here, show texture in the texture tab. You could also access it from this button on the far right. It defaults to an image or a movie. Let's change that to clouds. You can see what the cloud texture is doing here. We can change the size of that texture to make it a little bit larger. Let's go back to our modifier. You can see here we can change the strength of that. If we turn it up, turn it down, and then we can also animate this. To animate it, I'm going to click up here, put my 3D cursor right here, hit Shift A, and add an empty. Just use plane axes, and then we want to animate that. But first, to show you that this is affecting the texture location on this object, let's change texture coordinates here in the modifier to object, and let's change the object to the empty that we just created. So in this way the two are connected. If I hit G for grab and move this around, you can see it's controlling how the texture reacts. If I hit rotate, it also moves it around. So we'll just rotate it. So we'll set some keyframes for it. With the empty selected, I hit I, and I choose rotation. And then I'll move my playhead down to about frame 60. I'll hit RR to rotate it about that far. I'll hit I, rotation. Now if I play it, you can see that it's moving around. It's a little fast, so what I'd like to do is slow it down. I'm going to split this view, switch it to the dope sheet. I'm going to grab these last keyframes. I'm going to hit G for grab, and I'm just going to move it over here. And that should slow it down a bit. That's better. A little bit more. Now I'd like this animation to happen forever. So in the dope sheet or in the graph editor, we can go to channel, extrapolation mode, linear. And so what happens is the animation, oh that's right, it only works in the graph editor. So let's go to the graph editor, make sure all the keyframes are selected. Maybe that's why it'll work in the dope sheet as well. Channel, extrapolation mode, linear. Nope, it only works in the graph. So channel, extrapolation mode, linear. There we go. So now the animation will go on past those two keyframes that we made. If I hit play, you see it there. Good. So a nice watery animation.